Hello everyone, this is Suzanne at the Gospel of Truth and welcome back. Today we are going to be studying chapter 21 of Revelation. We've only got 2 more chapters to go. I'm going to take a moment here to thank all of you who commented on the loss of our grandchild. Actually, it was my great-grandchild. My granddaughter was 5 months pregnant and she tragically lost the baby. I thank you for all your condolences and all your prayers. Now, if you're new to my channel, we have been studying for quite a while in the book of Revelation. We started out doing verse by verse, and then these last few chapters we have been moving forward a little bit more quickly, but still thoroughly. Now, there was someone who oddly enough made a statement or a comment that she asked me, what Bible are you reading out of? And she says, you're very confusing, and something about money and being rich. And this was about chapter 19 in Revelation. I went back and listened to Revelation 19. I didn't hear anything about money and riches. I really did not understand where this person was coming from, but I did delete her comment because it didn't make sense to me. If you make a comment, please ask a kind question if you don't understand something. Sometimes I think we sense in our spirit where it's just wiser not to answer the person because perhaps that person doesn't want to learn. It's just there for the sake of argument. There have been a lot of trolls going on all over YouTube. People just wanting to stir up trouble. So I will stick with the majority of you that are enjoying this study. And yes, if you jump in the middle of it and you may not grasp it or wonder, what are they talking about? Even when I read it, it may not make sense to you unless you know the prior study, the prior chapter. So I encourage you, if you like what you hear, maybe go way back to the beginning of the series, and when you have time, just go through them all. If you'd like to study the book of Revelation, I have been using 3 different study books: this Smart Guide to the Bible, this Revelation verse by verse commentary, and this other Revelation verse by verse book. I read and see if they're all in agreement, if there's a disagreement, and so far all of these different books basically are saying the same thing, maybe in a little bit different way. Some of them are more comprehensive and would take a lot more time to go through, and I'd be on here for an hour or 2 talking about it, but I don't think we want to be here that long. So thank you for those of you who are following along in Revelation. I sure do appreciate you. Let's go ahead and start reading chapter 21. And I'm so excited. The new heaven and the new earth. The final 2 chapters of Revelation will reveal 7 new things. These things will allow a glimpse into the future that God has prepared for all those who love Him and have been faithful. A new heaven, a new earth, New Jerusalem, new things, a new paradise, a new place for God's throne, a new source of light. Sounds good to me. Revelation 21, verses 1 through 8. Let's read God's holy word. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no more sea. When I first read that, I kind of, some of the oceans and seas are so beautiful. But we're going to even have something far better. And we're going to find out why there's not going to be no more sea. Then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God. And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, no more sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Then he who sat on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said to me, It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give of the fountain of the water of life freely to him who thirsts. He who overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the cowardly, unbelieving, abominable, murderers, sexual immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. What does these scriptures mean? Revelation 21 introduces us to a new heaven. This is an area above and around the earth that had been Satan's domain, as stated in Ephesians 2:2, in which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience. It is a new heaven because it must be cleansed. It seems to be unadulterated and pure before the Lord comes down to the new earth. The aura of filth and pollution left behind by Satan will be completely eliminated. The new earth is utopia, similar to the Garden of Eden in its original form. An interesting and amazing aspect of the new earth will be the lack of the vast oceans that cover more than 70% of our present world. There will be much more land that is fully inhabitable, lush, and idyllic for God's redeemed followers. Christ has been building mansions, not houses or homes, but mansions, for his bride, which is his faithful church of followers and believers. This fact is mentioned in John 14:1-4. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. God's prophetic commands dictate that after the millennium, Christ will bring the new holy city, New Jerusalem, to the new, beautiful, glorified earth. This is where Christ will have his capital city for all eternity. This magnificent city is prepared as a wedding gift for the bride of Jesus Christ, his worshipers. What a marvelous, fantastic gift this is going to be. The tabernacle is literal and implies God will dwell among his people. This is coming to fruition in verse 3, as verse 3 states that God will dwell with man. This is an eternal state lasting forever, in which the redeemed and faithful followers will have fellowship not only with their loved ones, but also with God himself. No tears, pain, sorrow, or death will be present in the New Jerusalem, where Christ's followers will live. This reverses forever the curse that came from Adam's sin. Adam's curse is no more. Creation is not merely fixed. It is reconstructed for God's children to revel in for all eternity. It is done. With final finality, God promised to his saints has been fulfilled. Amen. As the bride of Christ, the faithful followers of Jesus inherit all that he has as he has promised that he will be our God and we will be his son. Yet, as the followers of Christ enjoy heavenly bliss on earth, Revelation 21 graphically outlines the trials and tribulations of the horrible fate of non-believers of all sorts who will experience the second death. The Lord calls out unbelievers by their offenses: murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, adulterers, and all liars. He will have them placed in the lake of fire because of their stubbornness, ignorance, unbelief, and continual sin. Seems very fair that God does this. Evil can't survive. It wouldn't be heaven if evil was allowed in. It would just continue and continue on and on and on. And now the time has come where we're going to be rejoicing in heaven. No more tears, no more pain, no more crying, no more sniffles. Excuse me. Won't that be wonderful? All right, let's continue on. In Revelation 21, 9 through 15, talks about the city of God. Let's read what the scriptures say. 21, 9 through 15. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls filled with the seven last plagues came to me and talked with me, saying, "Come, I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife." As he carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God. Her light was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Also she had a great and high wall with 12 gates, and 12 angels at the gates, and the names written on them, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. Now the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the name of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he who talked with me had a gold reed to measure the city, its gates, and its walls. New Jerusalem is described as the Lamb's wife. The greatest feature of the holy city is illuminating brilliance of God's presence. The book of Ezekiel discusses how glory departed from the old Jerusalem and is restored to the New Jerusalem in later times. These are the later times. Both Jewish and Gentile believers will share in the glory of God through all eternity. Verse 12 through 14 mentions the names of the 12 tribes of Israel along with the 12 apostles within the gates of the city. This indicates both Jew and Gentiles are present, with the qualifying trait of them all believing in and following Jesus. He who talked with John had a gold reed to measure the new city. Now, Revelation 21, 16 through 21 goes through the measuring of the city. Once measured, the size of the city is discovered to be approximately 1,500 miles long. This is a distance that would cover the eastern seaboard of the United States to the Mississippi River on one side, and then stretch from the Canadian border to the Gulf of Mexico on the other side. Additionally, the city will be 1,500 miles tall. The vastness and enormity of the city will provide ample space for a vast multitude of saints for all eternity. Each gate to the city will contain one pearl that is large enough to cover the gateway to the city. Pure gold, like clear glass, is the material of the streets. Inhabitants of the great city will actually walk on precious gems. Wow. Revelation 21, verses 22 through 27. But I saw no temple in it, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. The city had no need for the sun or for the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God illuminated it. The Lamb is its light, and the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light, and the kings of the earth bring their glory and honor into it. Its gates shall not be shut at all by day. There shall be no night there, and they shall bring glory and the honor of the nations into it. But there shall by no means enter into it anything that defiles or causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. There will be no temple in the new holy city. Temples are man's way of having fellowship with God, but now man will fellowship with God directly, making temples obsolete. There will be no sin there. Jesus' sacrifice for sin is eternal and does not expire. God and the Lamb are the symbolic temple of the new city. There will be no need for a sun or moon in the new city, as God's magnificence shines more than enough light. The glory of the Lord shall shine. The glory of the Lord will shine and light the entire city. There will no longer be such things as night or darkness, only glorious light of a kind that humans have never experienced before. Verse 27 again references the book of life. This verse emphasizes that Christ not only knows the heart of each of his believers, but he indeed knows every believer by name. Doesn't it sound wonderful? We're going to do a chapter wrap-up of chapter 21. God will create a new heaven and a new earth because the old one passed away. God will send the holy city, New Jerusalem, to the new earth. He will dwell among his people and wipe away every tear from their eyes. Everyone who rejected God during their lifetime will be cast into the lake of fire, which is the second death. New Jerusalem will be built on 12 foundations and have 12 gates. It will be laid out like a square and be made of pure gold and precious stones. And New Jerusalem will not have a temple because God and Christ will be the temple. Likewise, the city will not need a sun because the Father and the Son will be the light. I'm going back here to see if I can find okay, when it mentioned that there will be no more sea, I wanted to clarify on that a little bit. Isaiah, and this is 21 verse 1, and now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth have passed away, also there was no more sea. Isaiah predicted a new earth. Jesus said, heaven and earth shall pass away. Peter said, the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the earth will be burned up. Here John glimpsed a new heaven and a new earth, but they will be different from the original creation when God divided the waters to create seas and caused the dry land to appear. The new earth will have no sea on it. Bible experts believe there will no longer be large bodies of water to allow for, 1, more room for people, and to change the climate, reduce storms, and eliminate social barriers. The seal, trumpet, and bowl judgments will cause ships to sink and the water to turn to blood, but such disasters cannot exist in the new creation. Neither can floods, tsunamis, hurricanes, and mudslides, and there won't be a lake of fire for unbelievers. Then I saw a great white throne and him who sat on it, from whose face, the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. Revelation 20:11. So that's kind of a reason why there'll be no more sea. All right, I hope you've enjoyed today's study of chapter 21. I enjoyed reading that to you, and I think it's pretty understandable. Tomorrow, we will be talking about inside the glorious city. Won't that be wonderful? And then that will end our study of Revelation. I can't believe it's coming to an end, so it seems like it's here. It was quick. All right, everyone, I'm going to let you go. I am beginning to make a cuddle sack and a matching baby hat. We're going to an upcoming baby shower I told you about at the end of the month. I'm so excited. And I'm going to be working on that today, trying to get the cuddle sack finished. It might take me a couple of days, depending on how my knee feels, but we'll just take it one day at a time and see how it goes. You have a most blessed evening in the Lord. I'm so glad that you have joined me and shared a part of your day with me. You don't know how much I appreciate that. I'm glad that God is using me in such a way to bring the word to you. And I do study hard and do the best job I can. And I appreciate your comments and your love very much. New subscribers, you're very welcome here. I'm not sure what we're going to study after we get done with this study. I was thinking maybe men of the Bible or women of the Bible might be a nice study. The book of Romans. If you have any suggestions what topic you would like to study on next, please put it in the comment box below. It means a lot to me. I want to know what you would like to study too. All right, you take care. You have a most blessed day in the Lord. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow on the Gospel Truth.